Hi there! In this video, we are going to talk about the 5 myths that can kill your Shopify business. This one is celebrated by so many young gurus, but they have no idea about long-term profits, resellable asset, or actually sustainable businesses. And I'm talking about one product store. Okay, so what is a one product store? As the term suggests, one product store sells one product. And typically, this tends to be a very trending product, which often is also of a low quality. Now, why is this a myth and what is wrong with this business model? It's completely wrong because, first of all, it's based on the presumption that you're going to have a very high conversion rate, meaning selling a lot of these products, and also a decent average order value, meaning that the price is going to be either quite high or people will be buying multiple products in one order. Except these two are completely clashing with each other, right? Because if you're selling a cheap product, but you want to sell it at a high price and you at the same time want to have a high conversion rate, something is just not going to add up. And often this is a business model where people spend a ton of money on paid ads when they have crazy amounts of competition, and often the return is so minimal. And on top of that, when you have a one product store and it's not your product and you're selling some cheap crap from China, expect a huge amount of disputes, a huge amount of returns, and a huge amount of refunds. Okay, number 4. This myth is a myth of all of those gurus that promise that anybody can start making money online straight away. And we call it money from the first purchase, okay? So essentially this myth is based on the presumption that all of the money you're going to be making it from the first purchase and first purchase alone. Guys, this is a huge myth. Why? Because long-term sustainable businesses are only in business and are only profitable because they're selling to their customers over and over and over and over and over again. In fact, statistically, it's proven that a really good customer return rate is about 20%. So if you are only relying on making a first purchase and then don't have anything to sell to the customer afterwards, it's going to be really, really difficult to make money. Also, if you're not going to be building that email list and making sure that you're remarketing those customers who are on your email list, who opted into any of your email offers or newsletters and who have purchased your products before, if you're not going to market to them, you're going to be completely missing out, because it is known that email is the most profitable source on earth. So making money from the first purchase, guys, complete myth. Please do not rely on that because it can completely run you into the ground. Okay, number 3. This is the biggest myth on internet, and that is discounting. Like discounting your product nilly-willy, hoping that people will be buying more of your products. Like, oh, guys, that's such a stupid strategy, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you, but it will just be gambling your money away. Why? Because nobody wants to buy cheap. People want to buy value, okay? So whatever you are selling to them, essentially the pain of pulling out their wallet and buying something must be lower than the value they're going to receive, okay? So when I'm gonna ask you what makes your business different, what makes your product different from your competitors, and if you tell me that I am selling quality products at a cheap price or at an affordable price, guys, unfortunately, this does not work. I've seen so many business owners who make social media posts, boost their posts, then paid for ads, then don't know why they're not selling all of these products, so that they update their images and update descriptions, and then they start discounting everything, and then they pay more for ads thinking that people will gonna buy more. Guys, people will never buy more, okay? So if you ever struggle to make sales, price is not the problem, never. Price is never the problem, okay? So number 3, huge myth. If you think that if you're going to discount, you're going to be making more money, guys, please save yourself the time, save yourself the energy, save yourself the frustration, and don't do it. Always build value, and always, as a small business owner, position your product at the very premium end of the scale, because frankly, you need that margin and you're going to need it to be able to reinvest into your business. Okay, number 2. This one is the reason why 95% of Shopify stores go bust, and that's selling things for under $20. Guys, please do not sell things for under $20. Like if it's one item out there amongst many, many items inside your store, that is okay. But honestly, you want to be working at your average order value, which means what customer is buying on average from your store. You want it to be at a very bare minimum $50-$60, ideally at around $120. Why? Because it's gonna cost you money to bring that customer to your store. You're gonna have to pay for tools, you're gonna have to pay for apps, you have to pay to run your Shopify store. All of these different reasons why you need your customers to buy more in one purchase. What I always like to remember is what one of the biggest gurus in marketing said, Dan Kennedy, is that whoever can spend the most to acquire a customer wins. So always think about your average order value. How much are your products worth? How much can you be selling them for? I've seen a candle store recently, and this candle store was selling some candles for like 50 cents and $1. And then they were like, oh my God, everything is so expensive. The business owner was saying like, oh, the ads are so expensive. Yes, the ads are so expensive because if you have to pay 70 cents for a click and you are selling something for $1, but it costs you 20 cents to make that, like you are already making a loss, and that person hasn't even purchased anything, okay? So always remember average order value. Like, don't sell cheap stuff below 20 bucks. And if your products really are below 20 bucks, well, how can you bundle them so that your customer are spending at least $50, $60, $100 in one order? Crucially important. Okay, number one. I left this as the number one because internet is like full of it, and it's the biggest crap out there that I've seen. And I'm talking about dropshipping and the dropshipping business model. And specifically, I'm talking about dropshipping cheap product. Look, I'm not saying that the dropshipping model as such does not work and that you always have to own your inventory. That is not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that dropshipping cheap crap from China, hoping that you're gonna make money when the margin is so thin and people will be returning them and millions of other people will be selling the same product, and there will be all of these disputes and the product will break before they even get to you, and you won't be able to increase the prices because those products are just crap. That's what I'm talking about. So that thing, guys, don't do it. Why? Because there's a huge difference between just selling widgets online and actually building what we call $1 million brand, okay? Selling widgets, it's like what the cheap dropshipping model is about. Like, oh, just find those trending products and sell all of these widgets that are not even related to one another with all of these images that are like obviously fake. Versus building a brand, you can still use the dropshipping model, but first of all, do understand what products you are selling. Like, guys, quality over quantity, okay? Premium products, like something that actually will benefit your customers, something that you will be able to charge a proper price for. Also, building a brand is all about targeting one specific customer that actually doesn't just buy one cheap widget, but buys everything that you've got, because you will have related products to one another, which will straight away position your brand as a specialist brand, as an expert, somebody who is trusted, rather than just a cheap store, like a discount store, right? How many discount stores there are already? Like, we don't need another cheap discount store without a soul. Versus a brand, it's something that will be forever lasting, even though you might still be using the dropshipping model, but you will just use it much more cleverly, I guess. Also, instead of just selling cheap widgets and not be able to resell to the customer again, you could be building that $1 million brand, building your email list and selling to those customers over and over and over and over. And last but not least, what is the difference between selling cheap widgets through the cheap dropshipping model and building $1 million brand? Is knowing what you're selling. Okay, guys, even if you're using the dropshipping model, please order samples of your products. Like, please do get to understand what your products look like, what they smell like when you open them, like what's actually in the box. So crucially important if you want to build that long-lasting, profitable, sustainable business. Alrighty, and I've got one more bonus point for you. Those of you guys who are ready to build your $1 million brand rather than selling cheap widgets, you can steal my entire strategy I have developed after working with over 700 stores in over 35 countries. So inside the links below, you will find the link to register for our free masterclass. We will be also giving away to everyone who turns up a gift worth $197. And some of you will walk away with grants to start your businesses. So with that said, I'll see you in the next video.